Sawtooth Day, what's happening, y'all? Kicking it on Christmas. Hope y'all are all having a good Christmas, doing your thing, spending time with family, whatever. Family's like 2,000 miles away from me and my wife, so pretty much a regular day. At least we got the day off work. But hope y'all have a good one. Let's see. I'm gonna try to keep this one fairly short, and I think what I want to do is, you know, a lot of people are doing the whole, let me turn this light on real quick. A lot of people are doing the whole collection thing and, you know, best of thing and all that stuff. I think I'm going to do mine a little differently because, like, Steve's been doing makers he enjoys and he's doing just those makers. I think I'm going to break my collection, instead of one big ass collection video, I'm going to break it down to like the Medfords, the DSKs, the Graymans, that sort of thing. And so that if it's something you ain't really interested in, you ain't got to sit through the whole thing. And if something you're interested in, you can kind of watch and do that. Yeah. So that's coming. I'm assuming I'm going to do that next, but it's also a wild card day, so we'll see. But I'm going to try to get all the whole collection film, video, whatever the hell you want to call it, today, sometime. So moving forward in 23, which I guess is probably more set up for next week with the New Year's and all that other stuff. But moving forward, I'm going to try to move my knife interest into more modifications and making stuff than I am collecting and acquiring kind of stuff. You know, stuff's changed financially for us. We're kind of going full time with our business, kind of go back part time on the business. Wife's going to school again. It's just going to, a lot of stuff's changing. So stuff's got to change. So that for us personally, that's going to change, which will be changing the channel too. So hopefully y'all find something entertaining, but if not, that's cool too. So another week of trying to finish Sawtooth scales. I'm going to show you two different ones just to show you what I don't like, where I'm at. I don't know where I'm going for the future, but so these are all, I took these to work. I took my aluminum oxide. I buy that shit from, what's that, Harbor Freight. The 50-pound buckets of that. It's not the best media. Clearly it's not why they sell it at Harbor Freight, right? You pretty much know that when you go into the place. But this is the third bucket I bought, so that's like almost 250 bucks in. It's just not giving me the results I want. So I'm kind of starting thinking that medium might be the issue on it. But excuse we have horrible water here, but I'm going to bring this up where you can see it. I don't know if you can see this lines that are running this way and that. It's just, I don't know. I guess that's from milling the face of it. I don't guess I know. It's from milling the face of it and just the lines that left from the machining process. But I don't know. More consistent with the tone, but not the finish I want. That's the one that pretty much I'm absolutely not happy with at all. Transversely, there's a couple that came out all right. I'm just going to show you. I think this is this one. Yeah, this one came out okay. So some of these I try to finish differently. I'll show it to you. Why not? Some of these I try to finish a little differently. You still see those lines on that one too, but this one came out just a little bit better, a little smoother. You know, some of these I took the time to smooth off the bevels, sand them. Some of my you know, lapped. Some of my hand sanded with like a DA. Some of them I took a Scotch-Brite in them. So there's different ways, but either way, just not like, these aren't turning out like I wanted them to. Unfortunately, being a machinist does not make you a finisher. Like, those are the skills I don't have. So I'm trying to learn them, trying to get better at it. I guess it's probably a learning curve, but like, I need to get some better media, a better way to sandblast them to achieve the finish I want. And you also see from last week, you remember how darker they were? They see how much lighter they are. This is done on the blaster at work, which is the industrial sandblaster, and an industrial stone washer. So it made them all completely different than what I was looking for. What will I send alone? I don't know, man. Like, I'm not ready to, I don't want to put my name on those as I'm proud of those like thing. I got to figure out the finishing thing. So I may push this back a month or two. I don't even know. I may even push it back further than that. But until I'm happy with them, I'm not going to buy them. And I'm not going to sell them, rather. I don't want anybody buying those. The machine work I'm completely happy with. Just the finish work I'm not. Like, I got to figure it out. Just to update y'all. So that's where we're at on that. Steve's Man of War. Dude, this thing is so sick. I love this knife. The more I have something like this, the more I'm really going to want to add it to the collection. Like, I don't know, it's, you know, I've done a couple of these in videos and showed it, but it's one of those knives where no matter what I carry, like during the day, when I get home, immediately I go to the safe, pull this out, start playing with it. It's that kind of knife for me. Like, I'll have to get a Man of War sooner or later. So in the future, I will get one. While we're talking about acquisitions, we're kind of ending 22 with a kind of a bang. I bought this a while back, but I asked Apostle P to sharpen it for me. This is another Crusader. This is one that has that tiger stripe kind of blade thing on it, and it's a anode, or actually I think it's Cerakote lock side and G10 show side. Now I'll go over it, I guess, in more detail when I have more time. But you know, G10 is not really the knife material that I like in general. Problem with it, like this, I got a couple of DSKs in G10 too. The problem with it is there's a hand element done to this. Like if this was titanium and Cerakoted this color, it'd be perfect. But the G10, it's just lightweight. They don't feel the same. But you got a hand element to this scale that's been made that I'm not going to be able to duplicate. Like I can make this out of titanium, sure, it would look more precision, less handmade. The handmade element is kind of what draws me to that, to Crusaders, DSKs. A lot of makers like that, but they kind of mix that precision with the handmade element. It's definitely a highly desirable attribute to the knife for me. So I'm probably not going to change the G10 on any of these. Although I keep saying that, but I don't know. I may or may not, but I don't think I probably will. It's just there's too much personality involved in that. Like that's that person's style all the way in that G10. So I'll probably leave that G10 as is for the time being. Anyhow, ironically, I was talking. Actually, it was Maximus who just got an ADV. Congratulations, Maximus, by the way. He was for some reason, like all the guys that seem to have the big knife craze like I do, all seem to be like bigger people than me. Like I'm only 5'8". Like I gained some weight, so I'm probably a little over 200 pounds at this point. But you know, I got 2XL hands which don't fit my body. It's kind of weird. Like my hands are huge, but the rest of me's not. But Maximus was talking about he was 6'3", and I was like, man, dude, you're just huge compared to me. Like 5'8". Like I'm a little dude compared to, I mean, not the smallest, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not a big dude. But it's just kind of funny to me that hand size wise, like draws you to different knives. I wound that up because I didn't know when this knife came out brand new, I was already into sawtooths. Like the sawtooth for me, like a long time ago, drew me in from price, ergonomics, hand size. Like it's just the perfect knife at the perfect budget, especially back then for me. Like that's why I have 3 of these now, is because they're not inexpensive, but they're not super expensive. And back in those days, you could get one for under $400 new. Like so, it's probably on the equivalent of maybe like $500 or $600 knife now, I would guess. But like they're exceptionally good value for what you're getting. And I think that one's in 20 CV, but almost all the rest of them are 30 S30V, which is more preferable for me for a knife like that, anyhow. But anyway, this is about the same time that John Sorensen from Rotten Knives was starting to release. I've seen a ton of regrinds from John at one point. Like it's kind of like my buddy Mike Cuddy Cuts. He got into making knives, had an exceptional talent for it right away, and people recognized that and started sending him stuff. But he started designing that Evo before CKF was all involved in it and all that stuff. This is kind of like the very beginning of that. Grayman was designing a knife called the Tiga, which is basically sawtooth is the first one, Dua is the second one, Tiga is the third one, and it kind of means something. I think it's Indonesian, of something in that language. First, second, third, something along those lines. Don't quote me, but yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, the Tiga was being designed, and if you watch Scotch and Things, which I'm assuming most of you probably do, because Steve's a buddy of mine, and I'm pretty much along the same lines of knives. He got one, but I finally found a Tiga, and I really didn't know what to expect with this thing. I know originally I wasn't attracted to this knife, mainly because the blade length was small and its contoured scales. 2 things that are still, like, if you ask me in theory, do I like small knives, small bladed knives, or do I like contoured handles? I'm gonna say no to both, probably. But there are exceptions. Like most Diowares are contoured scales. I like most Diowares. Trying to think, like the Solo that I have is that carbon fiber one, and it's contoured pretty heavily. And Steve had let me borrow a Solo, which is a little bit taller and skinnier, and not quite as much contour on it. I definitely like the fattier, more contoury. I think that's why the S90s are so appealing to me in the Diaware range, because they're kind of the shorter ones. I'm rambling. So I didn't know what to expect when I got this one. it's just, I didn't know how to, I just didn't know what to expect. But the blade on this is very robust. Let's see, turn it this way. The blade on this, let me get my sawtooth out real quick. The blade on this is extremely robust. So you can see, like, it's almost, it's a more hardcore tip than even the sawtooth is, right? Blade stock's about the same thickness. It's a real chunky guy. But it's got a decent amount of belly, you know, so basically it's like the front half of a sawtooth, but more robust. So I kind of found that, and I haven't done a ton with it, but I've kind of found that pretty good as far as like my more aggressive cutting tasks, not my finer, like I'm not trying to trim out around something or something. We're just going heathen on it. Like, it's good because you can choke all the way up on it, so it does fit the hand size. You can step back on the, like, the standard kind of like sawtooth kind of choke up grip, which is on top of this. You can still stay there and do it. I dig the knife for that point of view. The contoured scales, I'm still like iffy on those, to be honest with you. Like, it's got enough weight to it to make it feel good, but I wish they were slab size. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just a little contour where the relief to the thumb stud is, that'd been fine for me. Other than that, like, you either dig the look or you don't. It's not my favorite. Like, the whole fish scale, I don't know, whatever you want to call that, scale on it. And it's kind of the slicker finish that I'm not super fond of. You get excuse socks there. She just going to make an appearance in the video. I'm definitely going to blast these. I'll probably, whenever I figure out how to finish those the right way, I'll probably finish this the same way. I'll probably do this one and the J2 the same way because they're both kind of slick. The finishing of them might even do some work. But anyway, that's one thing I've noticed right away. Kind of slick, kind of a little more contoured, robust blade stock. I guess this is the biggest hang up for me. Is this big enough to be my primary carry? Now, in the past, I would have said hell no, because I like the bigger knives, especially when I was machining full time, and because, you know, opening packages, separating materials, you know, possibly scribing on some jaws, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Like, that's how I used my knife on a daily then. Changing and kind of going more full time with the business, I don't have as much use for a knife. I just don't. So could I use this on a non-machine shop day? Sure, this could be full time for me, or, you know, a primary carry for me. I just don't know that I like that. I like the big bruisers, and for no apparent reason. Like, if you watch Dirt Warning, you know, he's kind of sort of the impression that he's kind of graduated from, moved on from the bigger overbuilt knives. And, you know, some people will do that. Me, this is my wheelhouse. Like, you know, when you find something that just kind of clicks with you in all aspects, this is the bruiser thing is me. Like, if you're an action guy, you're probably not going to be into bruisers. You know, like, there's all different, like, aspects of, if you're a straight up user only, you just see what the tool does kind of thing, you're probably not going to be into bruisers. Like, we all got little different niches and things we look for in a knife. To me, it's like hand size, ergonomics, and overall just the beast size of that knife make me like attract me to the knife. So I'm always going to be in the bruiser. So I don't know where this one's going to shake out to me. Big scheme of things, I do like the knife. It's definitely a good knife. It did have a little bit of lock stick, and I had to put some of that Oxguard on it. And action's not like butter or nothing. You know, it's good action. It's not great, but, you know, it's the same as a sawtooth, really. Well, actually, I think a sawtooth probably a little bit better action than this one is, but being honest. This does not have the bushing in the pivot like the sawtooth does. The sawtooth is more like a 21 or a 31 with that bushing in it, and you can see how you can tune one to get it to pretty much do the same thing. Like, if you have a Sebenza for a long time, how they'll end up going like this. Not all sawtooths will do that. You have to break them in the right way. There's definite tuning techniques to it, but I don't think that Subway's going to get that way. Like, this is straight up phosphor bronze. If you ain't moving the blade, it ain't moving. Like, you see, it's phosphor bronze. So this is great for work, for the work aspect of the knife. I just don't know mentally. Would I use this for a backup? I don't think so. Like, it's a little bit big on the backup side, a little more robust. Like, you know, transversely from the big cutting edges, I want a nice, more refined Sebenza, Unzon, you know, something like that for the backup, generally speaking. But I don't know. We'll see how this one shakes out. But it took a long time to find this thing. Long time. So from the emotional point of view of, I finally found one, I feel really good about having found one. It just remains to be seen how long it stays and how long I use it. Is that a forever knife? I don't know, man. For right now, it's staying. I don't know, but in the future, I guess it depends on how much I get along with it, and if I customize it to make it more of my liking and that sort of thing. There are some it's like the, you know, get to a certain point, you find like little small details about a Sawtooth I like better, little small details I like about the Tiga better, and then you kind of like, I almost want to mix the two and make something kind of in between. I don't know. I really wish Grandma was still making nice. I understand they're not, why they're not, but I wish they were. So this is going with like the intro video to all the collection videos. So sorry for all the ramblings. As usual, I like to talk and I got nobody to listen to but a phone. So hopefully some of y'all comment back. And then I'll hopefully the rest of the day, which I don't know, I got to do some other things here before, but I'm going to try to get in there and do like just the Medfords and just the DSKs. And then I'll try to do one video at the end and be like all the oddities, like all the singles from makers and that sort of thing. I seem to have a lot of 2s and 3s and that sort of thing of makers. So I think I can probably make it work with, these are my Diewares, these are my Cold Steels, these are my ZTs and that sort of thing. So if that interests you, you can click on the actual brand that you want to see, or you can click on the whole thing. I'm not going to put them all together because shit, you know me, I'm just trying to intro it and I'm already at 16 minutes. So it'd probably be 3-4 hours. Probably never upload to YouTube. Call it there. Oh, well, let's do it. Let me back it up for a second. Quick thing about the M3. So M3 Tactical, whether it did or didn't, I don't know. I did a short on Instagram. Some people saw it, some people didn't. My 2 cents on the whole thing. I hope they're being truthful with the American made thing. Is it possible what they showed in the video to do a production run? Highly unlikely. Is it plausible that they could have done the prototypes with those, the equipment they've shown? It's definitely doable. Definitely doable. You know, people are kind of calling them out and finding, you know, I don't think anybody's found any smoking guns as to whether they are or aren't. The frustrating thing to me is, dude did a couple of videos, he's in Marana, which is 5 minutes. It's like 5 minutes away from me, man. So I really wish I knew the dude a little better. I'd just go by his house and we figure it out. Like, it wouldn't take probably 5-10 minutes top. Like, we'd figure it out real quick. Like, but yeah, I'm just south of Pitcher Rocks, which is like right, the next town is like right there. Like, he's right there. So I wish I could hang out, give you a definitive answer whether they are American. I know some of the stuff they do is definitely American made. So whether those prototypes were or weren't, you know, I already talked to Kevin about possibly getting one. He's talking about maybe auction one off. I would honestly like to get that back, or maybe one of those. I think the other one that was in question was the CCT, which came out, I believe, before the Marine Raider did. I'd love to get one of those and do like a first article kind of on it, like show you the exact size. And, you know, you sniff around that a little bit at a time, like from a, you know, fundamental manufacturing point of view. The equipment that we have to check our anything is all pretty much in a standard. But there are metric shops, but they're slim and rare. But all our metrology is set up to check things in American standards, so inches, thousandths, 10,000ths, that sort of thing. So you would machine it to make sense, you know, from a metrology point of view. So it'd be pretty easy, like just measuring the pivot size and that sort of thing. And not saying a Chinese shop couldn't make it to this dimension. I just think it's probably going to be a certain dimension if it's American standard. That's my thoughts on it anyhow. We'll see. But anyway, I'd like to get my hands on another M3. So if somebody out there got an M3, I got a, what's that one I got? The Spyderco stovetop, whatever the hell that thing is. I can't remember. I'll swap you. If you got one, I just want to do a first article on M3 just to see it is or it ain't. You know, so if one of y'all got one, holler at me. Other than that, I'm gonna leave it kind of up in the air whether I believe it or don't believe that they are. I know they do some stuff here. I hope they have enough. Well, everybody calls it transparency, but I just hope they got enough guts to like say, hey, yeah, we did or didn't get it made here or there. I hope for the best. I fear the worst. All right, call it there. See y'all.